There's a certain kind of quiet, isn't there? It's not the peaceful quiet you find in a forest or that stillness of the world right before dawn. No, this is the quiet that comes right after a noise has stopped. You know the feeling. It's what happens right after the television clicks off, or when a podcast ends and the next one doesn't immediately start. For just a moment, you can almost still hear it, like a ghost of a voice or a phantom of the music. And then it settles, and you're just there, in the quiet of an empty room.
For so many of us, I think that kind of quiet has started to feel, well, unfamiliar. We've just gotten so used to having a constant hum in the background of our lives.
I remember living in a place where the TV just always seemed to be on. You know, the news in the morning, maybe a cooking show in the afternoon, that low murmur of voices as you're falling asleep. It wasn't really about watching it. It was about filling the space.
The sound of laughter from a sitcom, or the steady, calm voice of a narrator, they can feel like company. It's like they create this gentle illusion that we're not quite so alone. They fill up the silence, and by doing that, maybe they keep other things away.
So what happens when that constant hum is gone? When we finally press the button, and the only thing left is the sound of our own breathing in the stillness.
In that sudden empty space, things that were maybe just below the surface, they can start to come up. It's almost as if the silence itself gives them permission to finally speak.
Maybe it's a conversation you've been putting off, or a worry about work you'd managed to push to the back of your mind. Or maybe it's a regret, one that's been patiently waiting for its turn. And without that illusion of company, the reality of being alone can suddenly feel so much sharper. The quiet almost seems to amplify that feeling of just being by yourself.
And perhaps, most of all, we're just left with our own inner monologue. You know, that constant narrator inside our own heads, always analyzing, always remembering, always questioning. It's the one voice we can never seem to turn off.
If any of this feels familiar to you, please know you're not alone in feeling it. This aversion to quiet, this need to fill the space, it's a really profound part of our shared human experience. There was a study done, and the results are pretty telling. People were asked to just sit in a room all by themselves with their thoughts for just a few minutes. They were also given an option. They could press a button and receive a mild electric shock. An incredible number of them actually chose to shock themselves rather than just sit in the quiet. Just let that sink in for a moment. The discomfort of being alone in our own minds can be so strong that, for some, physical pain feels like a welcome distraction. It really points to a deep, almost instinctual avoidance of what lies within us. But why is that? Why can our own inner world be such a difficult place to just be? Well, it might be because the mind is never really truly at rest. It almost seems like it's designed for engagement.
There's a part of our mind that sort of wakes up when we aren't focused on a task. You could think of it as our inner storyteller, maybe our inner dreamer. It's constantly weaving together our past, our future, and our sense of who we are into this continuous internal story.
So this part of the mind is always working. It's sifting through old memories, it's making plans for what's next, it's thinking about our relationships with other people, and it's reflecting on who we are. It is just this ceaseless, gentle hum of activity.
So, maybe our need for distraction isn't some modern failing. Maybe it's just a reflection of the mind's most basic nature, to always be engaged. And when there's nothing outside of us to engage with, it turns inward, powerfully, and sometimes uncomfortably.
And this brings us to a much deeper way of thinking about rest. Perhaps what we're all truly looking for isn't just a break from work, but a completely different state of being.
We usually think of rest as a break, right? A pause we take so we can go back to our work feeling more productive, but there's a much older idea, the concept of leisure. And leisure isn't a tool. It doesn't serve anything else. It isn't an escape from our to-do list, but more of a gentle openness to our own existence. See, true leisure doesn't require a perfect life, one that's free from pain or worry. It's more of a condition of the soul, something that can exist even in the middle of our struggles. It's an affirmation of our own being. It's like a quiet cheerfulness in the face of our own existence.
This state of leisure isn't about trying hard. It's about surrender. It's a willingness to just be still, to listen without judging, and to simply receive the world exactly as it is, both outside of us and inside of us.
And so, here we are again. We come back to that quiet room, back to that moment right after the noise has stopped.
With this new understanding, maybe the goal itself changes. Maybe this isn't a battle we're supposed to win. It's not about trying to force that inner voice into submission.
Perhaps the real invitation is just to sit, to be present with that always-on, ever-active mind, to listen to its stories about the past and the future, to feel the discomfort, to feel the loneliness, and to just allow it all to be there, without any distraction, even just for a moment.
In this quiet space, there's nothing left to explain, really. There is only the stillness and the gentle sound of your own breathing.